Bring out your money.
I didn't know that.
That will make me do this.
Hold on up. That's good. Look at it. Look. Very good. Okay. Who needs this? Thank you. All right, so hold on to your money, and if you don't have it, just imagine in your hand, if you're right-handed, imagine you're holding it in your left hand. And if you're left-handed, imagine you're holding it in your right hand, okay, while I'm talking to you, okay? So, let me ask you a couple of questions. We're just now getting into what I'm thinking is the best part of everything we're doing. We're putting together Jack's work, my work, and from this point on, everything we're doing with my part, we're going to be testing. We're going to be doing a lot of evaluating for personal evaluations so we get feedback quickly from this point on. We just are going into this. I want to make sure we don't break this up. So Jack and I were talking about this, the possibility of if we were to extend the classes by, say, 2 more classes. So we don't end next week, we would end 2 more weeks later, which would be on the 20th of November. How does that agree with you guys?
Perfect.
I'll be gone on the 20th.
Okay, but
I'll be gone on the 13th.
but you certainly could make then that one of the 2 weeks.
I don't know, I'm out of town one, and then, I don't know, I've got very negative feelings about coming on my birthday, I'm sorry.
Okay, but you could watch if you wanted to.
Yes,
you could
of
watch.
course I would,
You could
yes,
watch
I would.
those, yes. But for those of you who would come to class, do you want to do it?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay. All right, so is that a yes then for everyone? Okay, can I see a raise, hands up? We've extended 2 more weeks. Okay, good. All right, so we'll do that, Jack. Is that? Okay, then we'll do that. Okay, good. Let me start this with an interesting story, because it fits in with what Jack was talking about. I had a wealthy patient one time who flew into Dallas so I could work on him. And as I'm working on him, he's very tight, and I'm asking him, like, what's going on? And he's going, well, I'm leaving from here, I'm getting into my private jet, and my wife and I are flying to New York, and I'm going to give it to my financial advisor, because this man just lost over $1 million of my money. So he's really upset by this. He's telling me what he's going to do to this guy. He wants to look him right in the eye, and he wants to be able to fire him right there on the spot. That's why he's flying to New York. So he does that. He goes off to New York. He flies back from New York. He comes to the office. I can work on him again. So I'm asking him, like, what happened? Because I'm kind of curious about this. He said, oh, my wife and I had a great time. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, well, my financial advisor, he met us at the airport with a big old limousine. And then he took us to all the best shows. And then he fed us like you can't believe. And then he made us feel so important. Now, oh, this was such an incredible week that I had in New York. And I said, well, what about the $1 million that you lost? And he goes, oh, that's nothing. It's nothing. I said, well, what are you going to do about this guy? He goes, I'm going to give him another chance. Wow. Okay, it's a true story. It's a true story. And it was probably more than $1 million.
Is it Bernie Madoff?
Pardon me? It was one of the original Texas oil millionaires. Okay, so let me go back to one thing I learned from this story. Some people believe in the improbable. Some people achieve the inconceivable. We're working on the inconceivable. Okay, we're working on what could you possibly do if you could open up your spirit and let it work and let it help and let it guide you for the things that you really want. Okay? That's where we're going with this whole thing. So let's get there right now. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to our sheets, and let's go to this sheet first. Okay? From this point on, we're doing nothing but work. Okay? This is all work from what we're doing. So go to the sheet. Okay? And we're going to change things up a little bit tonight. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to your energetic circle, okay? That protective sphere. A protective sphere. That's where we're going. In this case, we're going to have 2 of us in that protective sphere. We're going to have the actual you, like myself, and then we're going to have a version of me, which I would call the energetic self. Do you need a copy of this?
Yeah, I think I left mine up there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go to the version of me, you, and then we're going to look at the version of you, which is the energetic self. Now, when I look at my energetic self, I see something that's not quite as handsome as I am, but has more hair than I have. So it's a trade-off. So I kind of see my energetic self. Now, I don't care how you look at that. I don't care what that means to you. It could look just like you're looking at the image of yourself in the mirror. It could be some amorphic smoke. I don't care. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that protective sphere around my body, okay, and around both of us, okay? Both of us are included in this, okay? And we're going to call out at least 3 times silently to yourself. You're going to take command of this 3 times, at least 3. I would go to 4 tonight. At least 4 times that you're going to command demons, dark forces, anything that's within that sphere that's trying to stop you, you're going to release it out of that sphere. Okay, so take a few moments to do that. Okay, give you a few minutes. Do it 4 times. Take charge. Okay, a little bit more. Clear that sphere. So it's basically just you and God. Okay? Okay? And what we're going to do next is we're going to give permission to God, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, angels, whatever you worship. Allow that energy to come through and go straight into the physical you that's within that sphere. And remember, it's going to go straight through you into the earth, and then it's going to come back, and it's going to go through the energetic version of you on its way to heaven and circle back, just like in that diagram. Just follow that diagram. That's what we're doing. Okay. Now, as you're looking at the energetic version of you, you'll probably see areas or sense areas. Remember, because we've talked about the brain, heart, and spirit. So as you're looking at the energetic version of you, and you may see some areas that are darker than the other 2 areas. Okay? Maybe all 3 areas are darker than what they should be. We want all 3 of those places, brain, heart, and spirit, and that energetic version of you to be super bright. That's our goal. That's our goal. Now, we won't have enough time right now to get to that point, but that's what we want as you're doing this at home or during the day. Okay? So let that energy go through. All right. Now, the challenge, as we've said, is to have this work all through the day. That's obviously the challenge. That's our opportunity. We can have that work. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take you a little bit further into this, and I'm going to give you an idea of how you can begin using this image to help give you answers. Okay? So keep that image going. Keep seeing that energetic version of you, and let's go back to some of the things we did last week. So I want you to see this. Remember we talked about, and whatever I'm saying, you keep that energy going through. Keep that contact going through. Okay? So in the prosperity circle, we were looking at this, and last week we were talking about our goal is to achieve 100% total prosperity. 100% is the important number there. Total prosperity. And remember what we did? I made up this nice little card, right? This nice little card. And when I opened it last week, I think some of you were amazed at how little of that prosperity of 100% you were accepting. Okay? Even I was at 80%. Okay? So this week what we're going to do is this. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to be using this image that's going through your mind right now. And we're going to be looking at the energy going through the energetic you. Now, as I open this up, as I open up this card, remember the card says 100% total prosperity. Remember the numbers 100%. That's what we're going for, 100%. So as I open this up, look at that energetic version of you, and when the energy starts dropping down, it becomes thinner or less energy going through the energetic part of you, raise your hand to let me know that you're feeling that resistance or sensing that resistance. That's another way of doing the same thing. Remember what we did last week? We were doing it just from in here, and we could sense it from in here. Now we're going to be looking at the energy, at that energetic version of me, you, and when that energy gets less going through there, that's the same thing as sensing it from here. From here. Do you understand? Because as I'm looking at the energetic version of me, I'm focusing in on the same area right here, because I'm looking at myself right now, and I'm focusing in on that spot right here. I do not break that focus. I don't care what's happening here in my heart, I don't care what's happening here in my brain. I have one focus only. That's the only thing I'm looking at. So I'm looking at that energy and evaluate it as I open this up. And when that drops down, raise your hand and let me know, just like we did last week. Can you do it? Do you understand what I'm asking to do? Is it clear? Okay, so let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, so get the energy going through. Get a good picture in your mind of the energy going through the energetic version of you in that sphere. Good, and remember, we're going to let that energy go through with gratitude. It's the gratitude of acceptance and forgiveness, accepting ourselves and others, forgiving ourselves and others. We're letting that energy go through. That's what's powering the gratitude. Okay, and that's what's going through both versions of you. Okay, so let that go through. All right, so, all right, if you'll open your eyes, keep your energy going. Keep it going as I'm doing this. So I'm going to open this up right here. Focus in on this card, and as I'm opening up and you see the energy dropping down for that version of you, the energetic part of you, raise your hand please and let me know. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go. Very good. Roger, that was very accurate. Good, very good, good. Keep going. I'm attempting to watch out, very good. Excellent. Yeah, very good. Good. Keep going, you're doing great. You're right on target. Very good, I'm very impressed. Yeah, so far everyone I've been watching, they're very accurate. Good. Okay, for those of you who sensed less energy going through, do you remember roughly how it was for you last week versus this week? Is it better this week? Same?
A little better.
A little better. Jeff, you were going like this, meaning up. It's improved. Good. Good. You guys have been practicing. Good. Good. That's what should happen. Very good. Good. Anyone else?
Mine seems better.
Good. Very good. Very good. Anyone else? Okay. All right, is it clear what I'm asking people to do since you weren't here last week?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, let me do it one more time. Because some of you maybe not have sensed this, but let's try it once more. Okay, to do this, it's very important that you just let it go through your body. All judgments, all criticisms, all attempts to optimize this is a failure. It's not going to work. The more relaxed you are, the more you can just allow your brain, heart, and spirit to work together, the easier this is going to be. And the more you attempt to make this difficult, the more difficult it is going to get. Okay? So, take a few moments first, go back into that energetic flow. You're still in that sphere. Okay, take a few moments. Give yourself permission and allow yourself to sense when that energy is diminishing in the energetic form of you. Keep it going. Keep it going. Give yourself permission. Allow yourself to do it. Be very much at ease with this part of it. Okay. Okay, here we go. So if you open your eyes, keep the energy moving through. Just keep it moving through. Okay, here we go. Very good, 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 very good. Now as I'm watching you, and as I'm trying to remember how everyone, yes, very good. It seems like on this second time, I'm able to open it further for a lot of you, and we're able to accept more prosperity. significantly more in some cases. Very good. Very good. Very good. It looks like just that little bit of an exercise has helped improve for a lot of you, allowing yourself to accept more prosperity. Now, in principle, did you need to keep your eyes open while I was doing this?
Yes.
Okay. But in theory, don't need to. In theory, all you have to do is relax, and you can sense it anywhere. Yeah. And whether you were sitting here and I was on the other side of the moon and I was still facing this away from the Earth, you would still know what I was doing. Do you realize that?
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think I'm trying to teach you right now? What's the purpose of what we just did?
Receiving.
Pardon me?
Receiving.
Receiving, good. Okay. Sensing, good, sensing. Keep going. Anyone else?
I like acceptance.
Good, good. That's a good word too. Anything else?
I could give myself permission.
Good.
That was a big, made a huge change. when
Huge
I did
change.
that.
Jeff?
To me, I'm just thinking, it's control. I have the control, it's just whether I use it. And all of this is exercises to help block all the passageways so I can just use the control to get what I want.
Yeah, very good. Now, when you practice this, suppose you were busy doing things at work, or whatever you're doing, and maybe you have 5 or 6, a dozen questions you need to answer involving a dozen different people. So all you have to do is just do this, just do what we're doing, and you could have all these people in your sphere, and you could be asking every one of them different questions, and you can immediately see the answers that you need to have. It could be 1,000 people, 1,000,000 different events. And there's a lot you can do. And we're going to start doing this tonight. Okay? So let's go now to taking advantage of this in a slightly different way. Okay, so let's go to Welcome to the Future, class number 8, this handout. We're going to reuse this technique now in a slightly different way. Now we're going to get answers. We're going to get definitive answers. Because none of this means anything unless you can test it and prove it. Okay, once you do that, then you can get consistency. It's amazing what you'll be able to do. It's amazing. And that's where we're going with this whole thing. So let's go. Okay. So what we just, number 1 on our list is pretty much what we just said. We're going to allow that energy to flow through that sphere and both versions of you for anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. I'm saying what we're looking for is, when we're looking at the energetic version of you, you want to see the brain, heart, and spirit areas being super bright. That's ideally what you would like before you start asking questions. Okay? That gives you then complete acceptance from all 3 areas working together when they're very bright. If one is very dark and the others are lighter, you might have problems with disagreement. So give yourself at least 5 to 15 minutes of letting this energy go through exactly in this diagram like I gave you, this latest diagram. Okay? That's number 1. All right, so then what I do is, for me, what I do then next is I look at my energetic self. And then I look along the long vertical axis of the body and I split it right in half. So I'm just drawing a line straight down my body, which is now my energetic body. I'm going straight down the body, and then I say that one side of that is a yes and the other side is a no. Now you decide for yourself what side is a yes or a no. For me, as I'm looking at my energetic self, for me, I just say that the right side of my body is a yes. As I'm looking at myself, the left side is a no. That's what I do for me. You do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Okay? You choose for yourself. Okay? Is that clear, what I'm asking you to do? It's real simple. And sometimes it helps for me to look at myself, and I may put like a yes over here on my right arm as I'm looking at myself, so I'm further out from the midline. I may put a no over here on this arm as I'm looking at myself. Okay? I may want more separation, so you have to decide a little bit how you want to set this up. Okay? All right, the next thing. Okay, decide which half is the yes or no side. As I said, that's your decision. All right. You are always, always, no matter how you separate this body, We're going straight down, and I'm always focused just below my navel. Always focused in that area. I see my yeses and nos on either side of this one spot. Just below my navel, about an inch below. That's my focus. I never break that focus. And that's where I see my yes and no's on either side of that. Am I clear? Because if you go and lose sight of that, which you could do, you might get really good at this and start thinking, well, I don't have to follow rules, I don't have to do this, and then suddenly now I'm beginning to get answers. I may get my answers from up here in my heart or up here in my brain, and they're going to be completely opposite from what's here. Completely opposite. It is important to follow a system and keep it going. Yes?
So you're talking about you're right here on your energetic self. So do you make it a connection from yourself to your energetic self?
Yes. Every answer I sense, every yes and no I sense is the direct connection between my energetic self and this area of my body. I'm like looking at a mirror. Always looking at a mirror. Okay, for myself. Am I clear with that? That no matter where I'm looking at the energetic body, I'm looking at the area about an inch below the navel, my energetic body. I'm focusing on that spot, and I should see it and sense it here at the same places in my body. And if I get a yes on one side, I should feel it on the same side in my body, physically. If it's on the right side I'm seeing, it should be on the right side of my body. Okay? Left side, left side. Okay? Am I clear?
Brain person here. Okay, so when you're saying the right side, it's, the mirror image would be the left side of the
Right.
mirror image. So would it be,
Okay. If I'm looking at myself,
yeah,
okay, for myself, my yes is on my right-hand side, which is literally this side,
okay.
this side.
Your energetic person's left side.
Yes. Well, it's my energetic form. It's on its right side, as I'm looking at myself. It's on its right side. So if I see a yes on that right-hand side, for my energetic self, I should also feel one on my physical right-hand side.
Okay, so I get where she's coming from.
Yeah.
So here's to me,
Yeah.
right side, left side. But if I'm the energetic person, it's opposite,
You're
left side and
facing
right
each other,
side.
it's mirror.
So is it, if I'm pointing over here, if it's this side, are you saying this is right or left?
Right is right.
Right is right side,
Tell you what,
left is left
Jeff?
side.
Right is right.
Why not? Okay. Why not? So he's my energetic self.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone can say.
Yeah.
So he's my energetic self. And
Like you said, more hair and less good looking, right?
Perfect, right? This guy should have his own comedy routine. Okay, so I split them straight down the center.
Yeah.
Okay, straight down, vertically down. Okay, in my mind, as I'm looking at myself, then everything on from the center over to this side is the yes side. Right.
Right is right.
Okay.
And that's your actual right side, so it is opposite.
It is opposite. Yes, it is opposite.
Right is right.
But it's the mirror reflection.
Yes, but I'm just looking at my mirror image, and so that I can see in my mind, and for me, it helps me orientate myself that way. Rather than try to feel it here directly on me, I would rather see it on the image. Thank you. Thank you. And there's another reason why I'm doing it with an image. Here's the other reason. There are times you have to make difficult choices. There are times when the choices you might have to make could be life-threatening. Okay? I found that if I'm doing it inside of me, there's too much tension. I found that if I take it out of me and make it into a mirror image, I can relax. That works for me. So I can answer much more difficult questions in terms of a mirror image. Do you understand my reasoning behind this? No.
Is it okay though if we do it the opposite? If the way we're looking at it is a mirror to mirror, so our right side is on the right and the left is
As
on the
long
left?
as
Yes
you
or
don't
no?
get that confused, you have to make sure that you know what a yes is and a no
Right.
is. So if you can
That's the
maintain,
key.
that's the key,
That's the key.
right? You
Okay.
must
What
make
is a
sure.
yes and what is a no?
Right.
Okay.
And however you do that, that's okay for you, but this is what I do for me. You just have to decide what works for you. Okay? Because if I have to answer a lot of questions in terms of people asking me questions like when I'm doing my work in the office, I have to make sure that when I give them a quick answer, I know it's a yes or a no, and I know exactly I'm right. I don't want to get confused later. Keep it simple. The simpler you can make it for you, the better. Okay? Whatever you want to do. Now, you want to do this for yourself, but I'm just telling you what I do, and it works for me. Okay? But you have to experiment with this. But let's say you're doing it, you can follow what I'm doing right now, and this seems like it's reasonable. So we do it that way. All right? And then number 5 is giving yourself permission and allow yourself to receive a correct answer, yes or no. It's very important when you start doing this, because guess what's going to happen when you start saying, I've got to give a yes or a no now. What do you think is going to start happening to the brain and heart?
Stress.
Stress. A lot of stress.
Big butted ski.
Right. And now someone's got to be right and someone's got to be wrong. Right? And as long as you have that idea, guess who's going to be wrong?
You.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to be wrong. You can't put that type of pressure on yourself. That's why if you're not ready to scan, you don't scan. If you feel like I'm not up to it at this point, walk away, do some other things, come back to it later. There will be a time when you are in a correct frame of mind, when you don't have your ego involved in this, and you can give yourself a yes or a no correctly. Okay? But you'll just have to experiment with that for yourself and find out how you do that for yourself. Okay? For me, this is what I do. If I get into one of those states, I let that energy go through myself and then my energetic body super fast when I do that. Okay, if I let it go through super fast, it's almost as though if someone were standing next to me, like physically standing next to me, this energy would be moving so fast, it would suck them into that vortex. That's how fast I move this energy. Okay, this is what I've learned to do. And when I do that, there's no ego involved in this. I can stay neutral. I can get a yes or a no answer very quickly. It becomes somewhat very simple in most cases. Okay, for me that works. But again, you have to decide for yourself what works for you. I'm just giving you some pointers right now. Making sense? I find that if I can get the energy moving so fast, that takes me out of my brain, it takes me out of my heart, and the faster I can move it, the more I'm working with my spirit, I'm completely neutral when I can do that. Does that make sense? Yeah. It seems to work for me. And I'm giving you years of experimentation I've done in different areas. This is the fastest way, simplest way for me. Okay? All right? And let's see. All right, we're talking about staying neutral, allow the energy to run quickly through your diagram. Like I said, the faster you can make it run through, the easier you're going to have that yes and no answer. Now, how fast you have to make it run through, that's up to you. That's completely up to you. But I'm telling you, if I'm under stress, I have that going so fast, I could cut through steel, going that fast. Okay? Okay? And, okay. All right. Now, this is where now we come to, again, this is something you're going to have to experiment with a little bit. Now, let me go to this. I'm impressed. You got a lot of stuff done today. Good. I must be doing a lot of talking here. Good. Good. Must be doing a lot of teaching here. Good. Okay. So let's go back to your diagram. And this is where it makes or breaks you at this point, right here. All right. So we have the energetic version of you. Okay. So this is the energetic version. And then we have the physical version. So we have the physical version. Now the energy is coming up through here. If you look at the direction of flow of energy, you'll see it. Okay? All right, so now when it comes up into this area, and I'm focusing in on my navel, so let's say the navel's right about there. Excuse me here for just one moment. So let's say it's right about there. All right, what I do then is, in my mind, I have kind of like a box drawn around my navel. One side of the box, I told you, is a yes, the other side is a no. I said that for me, as I'm looking at my energetic self, the right-hand side of me is a yes. The other side is a no. Okay? All right? So, what I do then, and this again is up for interpretation, so I'll give you a couple of ideas, and you can experiment. One idea is this, and this works well for me. I get all this energy going up through my body, going right through my energetic form, and then I agree that I'm neutral at this point, and all I care to know is what's a yes or a no to the question. So I've developed a way that an agreement with myself, so the moment I tap myself, I'm tapping myself, and I'm using the right-hand side of my body, because over years, I do a lot of work on my left side, because remember I told you, I'm balancing my body system, so I do a lot of work with my left hand when I'm doing this type of work. If I'm holding things, if I'm checking things, I may hold things I'm testing with my left hand, but I may tap my body because I'm sending all this energy through here, and my agreement is that when I tap my body, I stop the energy and it moves to the correct answer. It'll literally shift from going straight through to the correct side, either a yes or a no side. That's my agreement that I've made, the moment I tap my body. Am I being clear? Now, it's still going through. It is still going through, but if it comes through and it's the yes answer I should be getting, it now will be diverted a little bit over to the right side and still go through my body, but more on the right side than the left side, at least for just a temporary moment. Do you see what I'm saying? And it seems to work very well when I do that. So I just tap. So you'll see me sometimes tapping my body or touching my body like this. And when I'm doing that, that's an agreement I have that it stops me, and that really causes me to focus, because at that point, I have a focus. So as I'm looking at myself and I'm letting the energy go through, and I've agreed with myself that this is what I do, the moment I tap myself, I can see the focus, and the focus is the energy shifts immediately, and I get my answer. And just a touch, the energy shifts, and I remove my hand from my body, and it goes right back again like it should, straight through the center of my body. But for that instant that I touch, I stop it, and it goes right to the yes or no. It's that simple.
So I was going to ask you if you had like a clear signal, but you don't need it, because when you tap is the only time you engage. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, it's like a yes or a no. Right? It's that simple. And it works very well. Yes?
Yeah, at the beginning you mentioned that all three areas should be just as bright as the other ones, but yet when you're doing this, you seem to focus more on the low below.
Right.
But what happens, because I think the other two areas should be involved as well with this,
Right.
not just this. Then.
When all three are equally bright, then all three are in agreement. All three are in agreement.
And
When
they
they're
all
very
should
bright.
be when, okay, at least,
It's just-
but you focus here.
I'm focusing here because I want to train my brain and heart to understand that yes, you may be in agreement here, but this is always king or queen. This. That no matter what I'm thinking or feeling, it's always second to what the truth is. I'm training myself to always understand truth. And to make sure that these are always working with truth. Always. So they can try to get all three of them focused the same way. It's kind of like training a wild horse. Eventually the horse is broken, and then you have some latitude. But until then, I want to make sure, because you may have different questions, different people, different subjects, and at that point you never know when these two are going to come in to try to create their own issues. So it's easier just to go here all the time. All the time.
Yeah, I've studied a system where you develop your third eye, you can actually see images of things.
Yes.
And you focus here, not down here as well.
I understand, but what will happen is, if this is allowed to work like it should, it will fuel the third eye. The images actually are coming from here.
Oh,
I think there's a lot of information out there that's not right. I think there's a lot that's not correct. But right now, just to say that this
will feel, okay.
fuels that. And you're right, when you get all three of these areas working and you really practice this and you really go through this, you'll be amazed at the information that comes, because now you're using all three areas instead of just one. Okay. Yeah.
Is that deliberate, that it's, there's a lot of information out there that's not correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So again, I go back. If what I'm saying, if you can prove that this is working, you can get your answers, because we're going to do some of this tonight, and you know you're getting correct answers, then you can trust that this system is working, and it's correct. If someone else shows me another system, and they can show me that their method will give me correct answers, I'll look at it. But I haven't seen anything quite like it, at least not yet. Yeah.
Getting your yes and no answer, you're going through all this method,
Right.
then you have to have something that tells you that there's a shift. Are you seeing the energy move? Are you feeling it? I'm trying to figure out
Okay.
what to,
And that's a very
how
good
to get
question.
to that point.
Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, now, when I say I see it, I mean I literally see the shift, and I literally see that it shifted over to either one side or the other side. I literally see it. Literally. Now, you may sense that there is a shift. You may have some type of internal feeling that there's a shift. I'm not sure how it's going to work for you. But when I see, I literally see it, that's exactly what happens. Now, you can do any of these things. You can see it, you can taste it, you can hear it, you can sense it, if you give yourself permission to decide which of those you really want, because you can have all of those. You can have every one of those mechanisms.
But,
Okay.
but
Go ahead.
we can always be open and see how we're going to feel it, right?
That's right, because,
Just
again,
open and say, okay, how am I going to feel it?
yeah, because I mean, we're just basically walking down the road right now, and I'm saying there's something in the woods, and we're going to say, well, how are we going to get into the woods? Well, that's where we are right now. As you practice this, you'll figure it out for yourself, but I'm just trying to give you my experience. This is my experience, okay? So, all right? So I literally see it shift, okay? And I like doing that because when I'm talking to people and they're saying things to me and I have to test it, I can see it shifting back and forth, so I can get yes, no answers very quickly, and it works very, very easily for me. Now, there's another way you can test this. There's another way you can do this, okay? What you can also do is this. You're sending the energy through your physical self, and we're sending it through the physical self. It's coming up through the energetic self. It's a yes or a no. So you can just say that I'm going to put in this energy that comes through my physical side, all this energy from God, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, etc., the energy of gratitude, acceptance, forgiveness. Now I can also put in a yes there. I can also put in a yes into that energy. I can imagine that it's either a yes or a no, so I'm going to say there's a yes. I'm just going to put a yes. I mean, it's got to be one of those two answers. So I'm putting a yes, like whatever yes means to you, I put that in an energetic field. And it goes down into the earth, and it comes back up, and when it comes up to the correct area, that yes swings me over. If it is really a yes, it's going to swing right over to the yes. And if it's supposed to be a no, it just keeps going right on through. That's another way I can do it. Am I making sense? Or you can do a no if you want to. It doesn't really matter. But whatever answer it is, it'll either go, if it's a yes, and it should be a yes answer if it is, you literally swing right over to the yes side. And if it doesn't, then it goes right on through. That's a no.
If you can't see us or sense it, is there a third way?
You got a problem. But you know how you get to this point? And practice. And practice. And fail. And practice. And fail. And practice. And fail. And fail. And fail. And practice. That's how you get there. There's no other way. But you got to have something that you know the correct answer to, so that when you are practicing like this, you'll get it, but you've got to have something that's exactly a yes or a no in the beginning. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be a yes or a no. Okay. So we're going to practice tonight. If you go to this second part, we have questions. There are questions on this sheet that had this circle. Okay? I have questions 1, 2, and 3. Okay, here's question 1. Here's question 2. Here's question 3. Okay.
I have a question before you go to
That's
those
question
three.
4.
When you're focusing on the navel, and then the 3 areas are all bright. So on the navel, on the energetic view, there's a yes and a no sign. When you're going to the yes or the no answer, are you seeing? When you said you are seeing it, you seeing the word yes? You seeing the word yes? Okay.
I literally see it. But for me, I just see why or no,
Okay.
or and.
Okay.
wiring. But you can do anything you want in it, anything. Whatever makes you easier at this. And again, I keep emphasizing, this is my way. Whatever way is easier for you to do, you do it your way. Okay, as you keep doing it, you'll streamline it, you'll do it much more efficiently, your way. Am I being clear? You must do it your way. I'm just giving you an idea. So let's start with what we're currently doing here. I have 3 questions right now. Questions 1, 2, and 3. So let's go down to the bottom of the sheet. All right? Trying to make this as accurate as I can. Does envelope 1 have a $1 bill in it? So here's envelope 1. That's question 1. Okay? Question 2. Does envelope 2 have the black card in it? Okay, that's question 2. Question 3. Does envelope 3 have a red card in it? Yes, these are yeses and nos. Okay? So, how might you go about doing this? So let's go back to what we just talked about. Okay? Keep the energy going through your body, just like we were talking about. So we have within that sphere, we have the physical you, we have the energetic you. Okay? And now I can imagine when I'm getting to the energetic me, for example, might have question 1 right there. I might see question 1 right here. Okay, I want to put it right there, and I want to know, because I don't want it out there somewhere. I don't want to have to waste my time. I want to make sure in my mind I've got question 1 right there, right in the spot. Now, you agree on one side or the other. One side's a yes, the other side's no. That's up to you. So I let the energy go through my body, just like we were saying here. It's at the energetic side of me. Let's say I'm the energetic side of me right now. So the energy's coming up through my body. It's coming up, going up into heaven. My body's been split in half, so one side's a yes, the other side's a no. And I allow this energy to go through, and I give myself time to relax. And then, when I'm relaxed and I can feel some confidence, then for me, what I do then is I just touch my body. Showed you I just tap on my right side for me, since I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, tap the left side. And I just do a tap, and I just see where the energy shifts. And I have an agreement with me that my energy will move to the correct answer side in my energetic form whenever I tap my body. Okay? Am I being clear? So, why don't you do the same things for questions 2 and 3, go through all 3 of them. Let's take about 5 minutes. Take about 5 minutes and go through all 3 of those.